Morning. I'm Ava Lawrence, and welcome to the Veterans Memorial webcast. Today we have Sarah Blanco with a local news story, Maria Reina with a national news story, and Alma Lopez with our sports story of the week. Let's get started with Sarah Blanco and our local news story.
Thank you, Ava. According to Gary Long, life just got a little easier for parents whose children ride the bus to school in the largely rural Los Fresnos Consolidated Independent School District. This year, the district launched a new smartphone app that allows parents to know the exact location of their child's bus at any given time. The app also will notify parents when the bus is a quarter mile away from dropping off the child at home. It is for the safety of our children and the peace of mind of our parents, said Suzanne Ramirez. Now we have instant communication on the location of buses the parents can access for their child's bus. The free app is available for download on Google Play and Apple iTunes stores. As of Tuesday, more than 1,000 Los Fresnos parents had downloaded the app. Ramirez said the app can also be accessed on the computers at the website www.safestopapp.com. It's a secure app where the user can only see the location of their one bus, Ramirez said. The app automatically sends them a notification when the bus arrives a quarter mile away from their home.
This concludes our webcast local report.
Thank you, Sarah. Now let's go to Maria with national news.
Thank you, Ava. Kenneth T. Walsh reported, President Donald Trump said Sunday the package of gun-related proposals that he and Congress are considering won't be affected by the mass shooting this past week in Texas. We're doing a package, he told reporters. That's irrespective of what happened yesterday in Texas. He was referring to a mass shooting in which a gunman killed at least 7 people and wounded 22 around Odessa. This followed other recent mass shootings in August, including one in El Paso, Texas, and another in Dayton, Ohio. For the most part, as strong as you make your background checks, they would not have stopped any of it, Trump said. Trump said that Odessa mass shooting really hasn't changed anything about how Congress or the president will deal with gun control legislation. The president said public safety is our number one priority, but he still wants to protect our Second Amendment to the Constitution, which guarantees the right to bear arms. Meanwhile, many Democratic presidential candidates have been clamoring for more gun controls, such as universal background checks and a ban on the sale of assault-type weapons. This concludes our webcast national report. Now back to Ava.
Thank you, Maria. Now let's go to Alma with sports.
Thank you, Ava.
Ian Miles Chung wrote that transgender athletes threatens women's sports. The victory of New Zealander Laurel Hubbard is just in the latest in a growing line of instances in which transgender women are claiming the top spot in women's sporting events. The 41-year-old dominated the Pacific Games weightlifting competition this week, winning a gold medal for her efforts and breaking some women's records in the processes. The inclusion of transgender individuals is threatening to upend women's professional sports. The male-to-female trans athletes previously qualified for the Commonwealth Games in 2018 and was expected to be a favorite for the gold, but an elbow injury forced her to withdraw from the event. Had she competed, she would have probably won. Hubbard isn't a lone figure. She joins with the ranks of sprinter Cece Telfer, powerlifter Mary Gregory, and cyclist Rachel McKinnon, all of whom which took top places in their respective sports, soundly beating their biologically female competitors. Much like Hubbard, Telfer, and Gregory also broke women's records with their wins. The inclusion of transgender individuals is threatening to upend women's professional sports. Biology is not a social construct. Although self-identifying as women, these individuals tend to be stronger, faster, and more agile than their biologically female counterparts, a fact neglected by proponents of political correctness. It is also worth noting that men's sports aren't threatened by the inclusion of transgender men. It's with these born with the uterus who are receiving the short end of the stick, as society tries to figure out what defines men and women. Social justice warriors defy it as transphobia. They argue that gender is a social construct. It's a theory in feminist sociology that states society and culture, not genetics, define whether one is male, female, or other. While the argument about what constitutes gender identity and gender expression, other confusing facts of gender in contemporary society remain up for debate. What isn't up for debate is the fact that those born with the male body parts and hormone levels have physical superiority over most biological females. It is settled science. Harbour's inclusion in the Commonwealth Games last year prompted researchers in New Zealand to voice their concerns over the inclusion of trans athletes in women's sporting events. The scientists argue that these individuals have an unfair advantage over women and are calling for sporting committees to fix binary gender categories, if only to make things fair. In a paper published in the BMJ Journal of Medical Ethics, researcher Lindley Anderson and her associates Alison Heather and Taryn Knox argue that capping testosterone levels, which has also have been proposed as a solution to maintaining a level playing field, just won't cut it. The research found the 10 nmol over L level permitted by the International Olympic Committee was significantly higher than the cisgender woman, whose sex and gender align as female. It is 10 times higher than a cis female. So this is one of my major concerns, argued Heather. At the moment, we are really targeting inclusiveness for our trans females to compete in a female division, and in that aspect, we are not considering a fairness issue for cis females. The researchers also argue that the advantages transgender women have over biologically female counterparts extends well beyond testosterone levels. Namely, they have denser and larger muscles, better muscle distribution, and higher lung capacities. Males even have an advantage when it comes to the amount of oxygen they can accumulate. This all leads to greater strength, agility, and dexterity, stamina, and endurance. A viral video featuring the U.S. Olympic gymnastics Nastia Liukin and Shawn Johnson had them reacting to the abilities of men doing women's gymnastics. This is like depressing to watch this, notes Liukin. It is slowly but surely becoming the new normal in women's sports. For now, women's sports only sees minimal inclusion of trans athletes. But should things progress as they are, women's records are going to look that much different from the men's in the not-too-distant future. This concludes our webcast sports report. Now back to Ava.
Thank you, Alma. This concludes our Veterans Memorial webcast for this week. Thank you for watching and have a great day.